Soar the skies of Mount Gone. Meet and assist the locals. Discover secrets. Find collectibles. Get new outfits. Deliver packages and destroy capitalism. All while becoming a full-fledged witch in Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Mika and the Witch's Mountain is a single-player game reminiscent of Kiki's Delivery Service by Studio Ghibli, with graphical vibes of The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and A Hat in Time, and has a playstyle similar to Little Gator Game and A Short Hike. It was developed by Chibig Studio in collaboration with Nookfist. Chibig is a company that not only develops but also publishes games based in Valencia, Spain. Other games from Chibig Studio are Dayland, Pocket Plane, and Submarine Mera. And you should definitely check them out. As a fun fact, all their games exist in the same universe, which is a very cute idea, and you can even notice this on your playthrough of Mika. As mentioned before, Mika and the Witch's Mountain is inspired by Studio Ghibli, from the character design to the storytelling, with its premise being very similar to Kiki's Delivery Service. You play as a young, new-in-town witch named Mika, ready to follow in her mom's steps to become a fully realized witch living on her own, which brings her to Mount Gon, where she will meet her teacher, Miss Olagari. But things don't go exactly as she expected, and now it is up to you to help her find her way back to the peak of the mountain, while doing favors to the island's inhabitants and fixing her broom. While the game gives you freedom of exploration, with certain areas locked behind ability upgrades, it does feel satisfactory to follow and has several aha moments, while also being entertaining, charming, and delivering several messages on anti-capitalism, toxic work environments, self-imposed expectations, and even misogyny to a certain extent. This being said, I do have some issues regarding the direction of the story, as there's a specific part of it where you quote-unquote beat the big meanie, but nothing ever happens on screen to make it feel satisfactory. I mean, it is the big meanie. This person was even super mean to you, and I feel like it was a missed opportunity. I know the game is cutesy and wholesome, but kicking butt is always good, no matter the genre. Mika and the Witch's Mountain's gameplay is pretty straightforward and offers little to no replayability, depending on your interest in 100%ing games. The game has you delivering packages and running errands to the different inhabitants of the island over and over again. The characters are a little bland, but you do get to know them throughout the 4 in-game days that the story takes place in. Going back to the actual mechanics of delivering packages, as that's the only thing you can do other than flying and collecting stuff for yourself, the game might get stale for some people, but I do think that it avoids that by being on the shorter side, as the main story can be finished in as little as 2.5 hours. The controls are very intuitive. Even if they had the jump and interact buttons reversed for my taste, I appreciate Chibig adding a reverse button option to accommodate certain people like myself. And while the game does give tutorials, I feel like it missed out on some information, as I never learned how to dive. Or I accidentally skipped the tutorial. We will never know. I actually discovered how to do it by accident when I ended up on the controller buttons map and read the word, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Aside from diving, you can also walk, fly, pick up and throw items, and that's about it. Honestly, I would have loved to be able to run, since some of the deliveries were easier for me to do walking as opposed to flying. While the mechanics are simple and one would expect them to be flawless, I did find a bug in the controls that kept on making me go forward by touching very slightly my controller joystick, and I'm not gonna lie, it was mildly annoying, which made me think my controller was busted, But a quick Google search let me know that it's a common issue with the game as it has no gamepad dead zones according to the community. The game also crashed twice on me, and while it does have autosave, I did have to redo some of the stuff I was doing before the crashes. One last thing is that the music seems to stop at random moments, maybe when it needs to transition from one theme to the other and it takes longer than it should. I don't know, but it did happen several times. This was not annoying at all for me, but worth mentioning. With a very colorful vibe, Mika and the Witch's Mountain feels very reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and A Hat in Time, as pointed out by my partner. All the characters, while having a 3D model for the overworld, have several portraits for the dialogue prompts, and are really expressive and charming, which helps develop their personalities a bit further. One thing about it though that I didn't really like is the fact that some of these portraits block the dialogue box. And while I was still able to deduce the word they were blocking, I still feel like it should have been fine-tuned. On the other hand, the scenery and all the details in the game, while simple, are stunning and very well thought out. I really like that Chibig didn't fill the island with all kinds of habitats for the sake of variety, like Pokemon games do in order to justify their Ice-type Pokemon existing. The island's design is only that, an island, and not trying to function as a full-on diverse multi-biome world. One thing I did find weird is the intro and the outro animations, as they are fully animated and don't use the 3D models of the game as opposed to the rest of the cinematics to call them a certain way. I thought the whole game would have animated cinematics, but nope. I would have loved to see more of those animations as they were pretty cool. Unlike the art and the story, which are inspired by Japanese media, I feel like the music takes a completely different route as it feels more universal. The soundtrack, composed by Spanish musician Adrián Berenguer, feels like a mix of Disney Pixar, Tiny King, Owlboy, and a hint of that chill music that invaded YouTube videos in the 2010s. Being very playful, wondrous, and adventurous. And while the game does not have full voice acting, it does have non-word voice acting, meaning grunts, groans, squeals, yells, and more. And honestly, while I love voice actors and the work they do, I do enjoy making voices of my own for each character and reading the lines myself instead of them being fed to me. Sorry, but really not sorry. Okay, hear me out. Kiki's Delivery Service is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie, and I found Mika and the Witch's Mountain on TikTok while it was on early development, meaning I have a soft spot for it and am definitely biased. Did I enjoy the game? Yeah. Do I think it could have been better? I think most of the games could be better. Am I avoiding the last question with a universal answer? Guilty? Yeah, I mean, in the end, it is a cozy game, with cozy gameplay and very cute graphics, and it serves its purpose. And while it's a little pricey for 2.5 hours of gameplay at $20 and little to no replayability, it is still very much Uchu approved.
Approved!
While the game might not be for everyone, you are warned of the strengths and weaknesses I pointed out all throughout the video, so there's that. Normally, I would give all the info regarding the developers and whatnot here, but I'm trying to reconfigure the formula I use in the video, so there's nothing else to be said here other than thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share as it helps the channel grow. And if you want to be up to date with me and all the cool and uncool stuff I do, make sure to follow me on all my socials that I'll be linking in the description box below, as well as the developers and composers socials. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye!